والاه. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. اللهم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. سبحانك لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. أنت المقدم وأنت المؤخر وأنت على كل شيء قدير. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما والتفرق بعده تفرقا معصوما ولا تدع فينا شقيا ولا محروما. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most compassionate, the most merciful, all praise and thanks are due to him, and peace and blessings be upon his beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He who is guided by the will of Allah, no one can misguide him, and he who is misguided, no one can guide him except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alhamdulillah that we do bear witness that there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Just a reminder, next week inshallah our session will be after Isha. Okay? Next week after Isha inshallah. And keep following the group in case if someone does not know. Type. We are in part 5 of the review of chapter al-Baqarah after 2 years of alhamdulillah of sessions. As I told you, I'm picking and choosing some of the most important things when I do the review. Every average 5 to 7 sessions in one session now, so that we can fix the review. Subhanallah, al-muraja'a. Reviewing is a basic part of obtaining the knowledge, by the way. No genuine, real knowledge in general and in Islamic knowledge in a specific will be obtained without review. The simplest example, memorizing the Quran. You can't memorize the Quran just by reading the Quran once. It's impossible. It's impossible. You have to keep reading, then doing reflecting, doing tadabbur, focusing, thinking, reading, focusing, reading, thinking, focusing, reading, and repeating till it becomes part of your life. Wallahu a'lam. طيب, last time.
ما في صوت.
والله؟
Yes.
لا إله إلا الله.
شيخت ولا ما في صوت؟
على صفحتي.
Yeah.
طب باخذ صوت دايركت خلاص من الموبايل نفسه ها؟ نرد نعمل تست ثاني نشوف شو القصة. طب تشيك هسه معلش خليني أقول بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. اللهم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. سبحانك لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. أنت المقدم وأنت المؤخر وأنت على كل شيء قدير. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما واجعل التفرق بعده تفرقا معصوما. طيب, alhamdulillah, it seems still adjustment is not final yet. Last time we highlighted very quickly اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد the most important message of chapter al-Baqarah, which is the story of the cow al-Baqarah, and we took a lesson from the idea of refusing submission to the commandments, which is do such and such. Stop. What about such? About the color? What about the age? What about, which means I'm trying to evade being, a practicing Muslim. So it's a message for us. And we highlighted some of the messages of the children of Israel. وَقَالُوا لَن تَمَسَّنَا النَّارُ إِلَّا أَيَّامًا مَعْدُودَةً, which is they were admitting that there is a ghaib, hellfire, sin, prohibition, etc., etc. All they admitted, but they say we will not be touched more than just a few days. We compare this with what we call him the pure-hearted people or the white-heart people of Muslims, another lesson, which means they admit and they know they are not rejecting this, but however, they pick and choose what they want. This happened last time. And the last thing, and I think we did, إن الذين آمنوا والذين هادوا والنصارى والصابئين من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر وعمل صالحا. Indeed, the believers, Jews, Christians, and Sabians, whoever truly believes in Allah and the last day and does good will have their reward with their Lord. This ayah where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning Jews and Christians and the Sabians, which is, we have a lot of different disputes about who are the Sabians. One of the explanations that they are the followers of John the Baptist, Yahya alayhi salam, before the coming of Jesus Christ, because John the Baptist who is the cousin of Yahya, Isa alayhi salam, he started preaching the children of Israel before the revelation to Isa alayhi salam. So some people, they believe that Sabians, they are the followers of Yahya. Now, Sabians, generally speaking, especially in Iraq, they are well known in Iraq. I mean, believe it or not. Wallahi, billahi, tallahi. You know, I attended a special conference for about 4 hours. Special conference to know with Sabians. To know who they are, I could not. Wallahi. That definition. Wallahi. Sabians from Iraq, they came with a special 4 hours. I think I listened maybe to 4 or 5 scholars of them just to ask me, can you define them? I could not. Wallahi. I attended the conference in specific just to come up with an idea directly from themselves. What is their definition? I could not. Anyway, I mean, so no wonder why we are not able to know who are they at least now. Some people, they believe they are the worshippers of some, planets and stars and something. Regardless, from the context, this name was given to a group who used to be followers of the Deen al-Haq at a certain time, regardless what they are now. The idea where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is indicating all of those people, look, indeed, believers, Jews, Christians, Sabians, whoever truly believes in Allah and the last day and does good, believes, does good, which means believes in Allah and submits to the will of Allah. What do we call them? Muslims. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, this ayah in specific, by the way, is one of the greatest ayahs in the Quran, which gives an idea about how fair Muslims are with everyone else. By the way, we are the only one who admits that other millions of people are believers like us. We are not excluding them, we say, because we believe in a continuous existence of the religion of Allah. Therefore, we consider Musa was a Muslim, Ibrahim was a Muslim, Yusuf was a Muslim. So all of them, we respect them, and any indication of disrespect to any of those people or their followers, we might be committing kufr. So this is one of the ayat. But this ayah cannot be understood. This is one of the great things. I forgot if I did it last time or not. We should not understand إن الذين آمنوا والذين هادوا والنصارى والصابئين من آمن بالله وعمل صالحا فله أجرهم, without understanding in light of the other ayat, such as إن الدين عند الله الإسلام ومن يبتغي غير الإسلام دينا فلن يقبل منه. This ayah has a context. It came to tell you now, final judgment, is إن الدين عند الله الإسلام. Indeed, the only acceptable religion in the eyes of Allah is Islam. طيب. ومن يبتغي غير الإسلام دينا فلن يقبل منه. Anyone who's seeking a religion other than religion in Islam, it's not acceptable. طب how can we understand this إن الذين آمنوا والذين هادوا? It's a reply for those who are concerned about what will happen with the previous people. Because when Islam came, and the most of the narrations قال سبب النزول عدة روايات غالبها عن سلمان الفارسي. Salman, if you don't know, he was searching for the haqq. He's a Persian. Some of the narrations says he used to be Zoroastrian. He used to worship the fire. Then some narrations said he became a Jewish following Judaism. Then he followed Christianity. Then when he was enslaved as under a Christian person, then he decided to become a Muslim. So he went through at least 3 to 4 religions. Then he became a Muslim.
Was he like 18 years old when
He was, I mean, I'm not sure, as if it's 60 something. And he lived long time. Yes. But I don't remember exactly how old he was, but he was not young. Yes, because he became, he traveled through many religions. So most of the narrations about this ayah says, Salman radiallahu anhu قال سأل عمن رأى وعايش من أهل دين كانوا يصلون ويلتزمون ويؤمنون بالنبي. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because he said to Prophet Muhammad, Ya Rasulullah, I discovered the truth. However, I, as Salman, I was with a group of Jewish people. I know they were praying, doing good, believing in the Prophet who will come. What about them? And they passed away many years ago. And I know some Christians, he was telling Prophet Muhammad when I was a Christian, that some priests, they used to worship God, to fear Allah, believes in the Akhirah, and they do good, but they passed away. What will happen to them? Allah revealed this. إن الذين آمنوا والذين هادوا والنصارى والصابئ من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر وعمل صالحا فلهم أجرهم عند ربهم. Which means this ayah is for who? Previous. This is very important, by the way, because some people, they don't understand the context. They say, Sheikh, the Quran basically tells you anyone who believes in any of these religions, it's okay. No, it's not okay. Be careful. Because out of context, I mean, you can, by the way, anything out of context could give exactly the opposite meaning of what you want. Out of context. Like, for example, now, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الصَّلَاةِ. Don't continue the context. What's the meaning? Huh? Don't pray. Now, if I told you وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الصَّلَاةِ and I stopped, if I asked you this misleading question, is what I have read part of the Quran or not? True or false? If you came to tell me, but could you, regardless, is it part of the Quran or not? But continue, regardless, is it part of the Quran or not? It's part of the Quran. It says, don't ever come close to the prayer. No, continue the context. You see? So for example, the context is historical about those who passed away. This is one of important things that we did. And this should have been connected last time, I don't know if I did it, that the concept of believer and non-believer, it's a worldwide concept historically and linguistically and logically. It's not an Islamic concept. I mean, mu'min and kafir or iman and kufr, don't be misled. Someone tell you, why you are using the word kufr, for example? You are doing something. So wait. We are not using, it's a linguistic description. It's an academic, scientific description. If I don't believe in Christianity, for Christians, what is my classification? I'm under which category? Tell me. Yes, I'm a kafir in Christianity. I'm a disbeliever in Christianity. But if I don't believe in Buddhism, what is my label with regard to Buddhism? A disbeliever in Buddhism. Is this a common sense or not? This is, by the way, a descriptive word. Do you believe in Judaism? If yes, you are a Jewish. If not, you are a disbeliever in Judaism. But do you believe in atheism? No. You are what? A disbeliever in atheism. So this is a common sense thing. All, by the way, not just religions, even non-religious people, they use it. They don't use the term, but they use the same concept. Okay? Now, if you don't believe in liberalism, what do they call you? Fanatic. Okay? Extremist. What's this? A title of another type of kufr in liberalism. Which means you are a disbeliever in their values. This is very important in this context, because now the final version for us, version, is the one who believes وَمَنْ يَبْتَغِ غَيْرَ الْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا فَلَنْ يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد. طيب, today we will continue from verse nearly 884. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِذْ أَخَذْنَا مِيثَاقَ اللهم صل على سيدنا sorry. Yes, وَإِذْ أَخَذْنَا مِيثَاقَكُمْ لَا تَسْفِكُونَ دِمَاءَكُمْ وَلَا تُخْرِجُونَ أَنفُسَكُمْ مِنْ دِيَارِكُمْ. I will not repeat the whole verse, I'm just reviewing, but I'm just stopping with the most important verses. We stopped with this verse maybe 3 sessions that time. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as I told you, one of the most important thing that we can conclude why Allah decided to give us the children of Israel as a big example and lesson. I told you, they preceded us. They were following the truth. They used to be Muslims, and they have a lot of historical lessons that we can learn from. Allah decided to teach us. Now, this ayah is not for the people of Israel, it's for us. Allah said, وَإِذْ أَخَذْنَا مِيثَاقَكُمْ لَا تَسْفِكُونَ دِمَاءَكُمْ وَلَا تُخْرِجُونَ أَنفُسَكُمْ مِنْ دِيَارِكُمْ ثُمَّ أَقْرَرْتُمْ وَأَنْتُمْ تَشْهَدُونَ ثُمَّ أَنْتُمْ هَؤُلَاءِ تَقْتُلُونَ أَنفُسَكُمْ وَتُخْرِجُونَ فَرِيقًا مِنْكُمْ مِنْ دِيَارِهِمْ تظاهرون عليهم بالإثم والعدوان وإن يأتوكم أسارى تفادوهم وهو محرم عليكم إخراجهم أفتؤمنون ببعض الكتاب وتكفرون ببعض فما جزاء من يفعل ذلك منكم إلا خزي في الحياة الدنيا ويوم القيامة يردون إلى أشد العذاب وما الله بغافل عما تعملون. The core meaning of this ayah is applicable 99.9999% on Arab Muslims now. Allah took the covenant from the children of Israel at a certain time not to kill each other and not to help the enemy against their brothers. Yet they put their hands, some of them, with the enemy and they killed their own brothers. So Allah described them, أَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْضِ الْكِتَابِ وَتَكْفُرُونَ بِبَعْض. Do you believe in some of the book and you close your eyes and you leave the book? Your punishment for this will be khizyun. You will be disgraced in this dunya. This happened more than 2,000, it's around maybe 3,000 years ago. This is an example of a believer, followers of a prophet. They were given the covenant. They used to have a book. They were the only group who are following the truth, and they did that. Who's doing this now? Nearly 90% of Arabs and Muslims are applying this now. Especially understand it after Sykes-Picot. If you are not aware of the history, you know, by the end of the First World War, 1914, 1917, you know, one of the two biggest empires at that time, the British and the French. So they were occupying maybe more than 70% of planet Earth, including our areas, the Arabs and Muslims in the Middle East. So they, you know, after the collapse of the Ottoman Empire, they did what we know as Sykes-Picot. Sykes-Picot, two military officers, French and British. They decided to divide the Arab world into 22 countries. After they did so, Arabs and Muslims, they started fighting, look what's the ayah, fighting each other, killing each other for nationalism and protecting the flag of the borders, which was determined and decided by the British and the French. And anyone, for example, Jordanians and Syrians, they used to fight for the borders that was laid by the French and the British. So a new generation of Syrians, they used to consider anyone from Jordan, which all of them, there was one country. If you pass by without a permit, I will shoot you. And you are a terrorist. And if you killed me, I'm a martyr. Go to the ayah. وَإِذْ أَخَذْنَا مِيثَاقَكُمْ لَا تَسْفِكُونَ دِمَاءَكُمْ. We took your covenant not to shed your blood by your hands. ثُمَّ أَقْرَرْتُمْ. And you agreed that this is one of the most prohibited. ثُمَّ أَنْتُمْ هَؤُلَاءِ تَقْتُلُونَ وَتُخْرِجُونَ. What's this? How many Muslims now, they were kicked out and killed by Muslims, and they were pushed to leave their countries by Muslims. To understand how important this ayah is. فما جاء الجزاء من يفعل ذلك منكم إلا خزي في الحياة الدنيا. You will be completely in a shameful, disgraceful status in this dunya. Forget the akhirah now. The akhirah, severe punishment is waiting. And some of us, we are wondering why we are facing this kind of difficulty in our lives. Look, this is exactly the ayah for us now. By the way, 100% it's applicable on us. This is important. Ya Allah, La ilaha illallah. This is very important to know. maybe some of you, subhanallah, in this context, when I was preparing at that time, Prophet Muhammad said a hadith. He was looking to the Kaaba. قال اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد. In two hadith actually, one about Ibn Abbas, another one by Ibn Majah. قال لزوال الدنيا, Prophet Muhammad قال لزوال الدنيا أهون على الله من قتل مؤمن بغير حق. It's easier for Allah in the sight of Allah that the whole the dunya to disappear rather than just killing one believer without justified reason to kill him, that he's not a murderer, he did not go just, which is, yet many Muslims are killing exactly like the children of Israel used to do 3,000 years ago. That's why we have this ayah as a lesson. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. Now, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad.
What was the ayah number?
The ayah, I think 84 if I'm not mistaken. I think 84, yes. وَإِذَا أَخَذْنَا مِيثَاقَكُمْ وَرَفَعْنَا وَإِذَا أَخَذْنَا مِيثَاقَكُمْ لَا تَسْفِكُونَ دِمَاءَكُمْ. طيب. Now, other thing that I keep mentioning because the Quran keeps mentioning it, which is disbelief or rejection, which is the Arabic terminology is kufr, does not mean I'm not convinced, and does not mean I'm ignorant or I don't know. Please keep this very clear in your mind. Kufr indicates that I know, I'm aware, I'm not ignorant, but I rejected what I know after understanding. That's why basically the word kufr is a rejection for the truth. Okay? So when we talk about this, it's very important because every few ayat Allah keeps repeating this to us. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. And in this context, we highlighted the following meaning. قال ما دمت صالحا فالكل يحبك أما إذا أردت أن تكون مصلحا وأردت تغيير الفساد فكل أصحاب المصالح سيعادونك. In that context at that time about the rejection, but why the people they reject the haqq after they know it, one of the main reasons because their personal interests will be impacted by following the truth, which is like in the seerah when we spoke about Heraclius. He realized it was very clear to him, but for him authority and the power will be lost, so forget it. He just withdrew and changed his mind, even though he was aware 100% that this prophet is the new prophet, and he said that I know was he's coming. So we have many examples about this, that I know, I'm aware, but simply I don't want to. Why? Simply my interests, my desires might be impacted or affected. Now, in this context, we have a very good example. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ for 40 years. In this 40 years, what is the percentage of his enemies in Mecca? How many hundreds or tens of people they were hating him? 0. طيب. What was his title? Sadiq al-Amin. Was he a righteous person? Yes. Very good person? Yes. Did they love him? Yes. Did they trust him? Yes. Did they put their own personal belongings as trust in his house? Yes. When they had some disputes, like when the flood came and when they had the big disputes, who accepted as a judge? Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What is the difference between Muhammad before revelation and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam after revelation? Be careful about this. Before revelation, Muhammad was salih. After revelation, he became salih and muslih. Be careful about this. For revelation, and by the way, even wherever you go now, go to any liberal society, any secular society. If you were righteous, pious, they all will respect you. If you decided to highlight the flag of changing corruption, all of them, they will attack you. This is the difference between salih and muslih. Now, by myself, I'm righteous. I don't lie. All of them, oh, thank you, Brother Amjad, mashallah. I don't cheat, mashallah. I don't. Okay, let's put a system to stop cheating and theft. Excuse-moi. You want me to stop theft, but insurance company will not be able to work. They will kill you. And in many countries, police departments, they are part of the crime. And by the way, many countries around the world, police, bankers, with insurance companies, with police departments, all of them, they work together. In some countries, you call them, I'm witnessing the thief, he's taking my car. Okay, leave him, don't touch him. Excuse me, don't do any, but the thief, excuse me, maybe you don't understand my English. No, I understand, sir. Don't do anything, leave him. But I'm telling you, I'm witnessing in the car. Okay, maybe because for human rights, they don't want me to hurt. Okay, sir, I have GPS. I can't tell you where is the car now. Okay, forget it, we will manage it. 1 hour later, excuse me, we will manage it. Don't make a headache, don't worry. Okay, 3 hours, don't worry, we will manage it. 4 hours, excuse me, we did not find it. It's outside the country because we could, but I'm phoning you since 4 hours. What does this tell you? If you are, I'm trying not to be idiots. I'm trying. I wish sometimes that I cannot use my mind. This in a simple language tells you what? There is what? Cooperation. The only common sense result. There's something in some countries. I mean, what's the explanation for this? I'm telling you, my car in this spot, please go. No, don't interfere. Speak with the insurance company. But go, okay, forget my car. Go and bring the thief. If they brought him, 3 hours later, he's outside with a bill. Oh my God. He will make another theft. Okay, by law, we can do nothing. You will start questioning who designed the law. Who is benefiting from this law? This is a common sense. When you start digging to these things, you will start to become a muslih. You want to fix the corruption. Okay. They will find a new title for you. Used to be nice, good, beloved, mashallah, pious. Now you are what? Troublemaker. Extremist. Fanatic. Radical. And if you are a little bit more active, the best label, terrorist. The best label. It burns you very quickly, and the media will have good material to talk about you. Then you will disappear. I don't know why. I don't know how. You need to understand this. So this is in light of understanding these terminologies, the haqq and batil, iman and kufr. This must be clear in our mind. This happened with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because people, yes, exactly. That's why, by the way, one of the da'iyas, he was explaining, they said, amazingly, by the way, in our terminology now, we can understand Meccans that they were something similar to very high, tolerant, secular society, because they used to have 360 statues. So go and worship any wathan or any sanam or any statue you would like. Is this true or not? Which means, if you decide to bring a new statue, they will not tell you this. If you decided to become a new statue from date, from rock, from whatever, they will not say anything. Right. What is the new thing that Muhammad came? They realize what is La ilaha illallah. No one has the superiority to decide what should be done and what's right, what's wrong, except Allah. Okay. Now let's dig in deep. Whose interest will be affected? People of power, they were speaking on behalf of these statues. Who's benefiting from bringing the money into the sacred place? People of power. Like some, I don't generalize, some Sufi order in the world, in Islamic world, some Sufi order. Those great mashayikh who are not praying sometimes and they don't care about Islam, they put great efforts for their followers to stay following this order or tariqah, because they are paying what? Whenever they want to, they command, keep paying. So they are benefiting. So if you discover that they are cheating or lying, the benefit will not come. So it's like a worldwide phenomena. But this used to happen in the time of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and after that. One of the things we highlighted at that time, many people, I saw many people in my life saying, Ya Allah, I wish if I was born at the time of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. I envy in a good sense Bilal radiallahu anhu, Hamza radiallahu anhu, Khalid bin Walid radiallahu anhu, Umar radiallahu anhu. I wish if I was with them. I said, brother, say Alhamdulillah for the decisions of Allah. Who guarantee if you were at that time you will not be with Abu Jahl? Wallahi. Who guarantee that you will not be with Umayyah ibn Khalaf or Abu Lahab? Who? So now you can follow Muhammad ﷺ and follow the footsteps of Umar and Khalid and Bilal by understanding your religion. Do your best to oppose the falsehood and all kind of corruption. Do the good in yourself. If you can do more, do your best and you will be with them. Don't worry. Because you don't know the fitna when it comes. Because many of us, when we were exposed to the reality, and we, especially when we have the power, when we have the money, many people, they simply, they left, they went astray from hundreds of people. We used to be poor all the time. Ya Allah, if you give money, I will take care of orphans. Ya Allah, if you give money, I will take care of the needy people. I will do sadaqah. I will build masajid. When he became a multi-millionaire, he started having golden chain in his chest. You know, yes, golden watch, 5, 6, 7 cars, each one of them 1, 2 millions. He does not think about poor. He does not pray. He stopped praying. His wife left the hijab. All of his time, he takes the dinner in Paris, and the next day he takes for example, the breakfast in Dubai or Abu Dhabi. Okay, and maybe next lunch will be in New York City, just to to show that he's. And what about the orphanage that you were planning? Excuse me. All of these mashayikh are cheaters. They take the money for this and don't pay for these things. Between me and Allah, I will solve it. Khalas. Many of them, hundreds of those people, we witnessed this. They used to be with us, and they would reach there, khalas. How many politicians from those who used to be practicing Muslims, when they became ministers or MPs, they were in line with the dictatorship regimes in their countries? How many of them? So no one knows. My point. The problem is not knowing or not knowing, realizing or not realizing the haqq. The idea after realizing the haqq, what is your attitude from the haqq? Submission or rejection? Submission means Muslim, rejection means kafir. Tuta tuta, khilsat al-hattuta. This is khalas, finito. This is the whole story, by the way. Everything. We understand. And by the way, this is applicable in tens of aspects in our life. Wallahu a'lam. طيب. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد. One of the examples we mentioned as well in that context about our brothers, our cousins, and ourselves, it's like, you know what I mean by that, huh? One of the examples, because some people, they keep saying, okay, why we have these tens of stories about our cousins, tens, just to understand that our relation with them is like, just to make it simple, وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى, like a great king. This great king, وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى, he decided to put his representative, his elder son. Then this elder son started to misbehave. He was warned 10 times. He insisted to misbehave. Then the father decided to kick the elder son out, and he brought the younger brother as a CEO or as a representative or like a board of directors in a huge company. They discovered the CEO is trying to misbehave and he is affecting the company in a very bad way. He was warned 10 times and he insisted to misbehave with the public, and so they decided to out. And they replaced with someone else. From here started now. Now simply, this son should accept the fact that he was misbehaving and khalas, I'm sorry, Dad, please forgive me. No, he started waging a war against his father and against his brother. This is, something similar to that, what's happening. Wallahu alam. And this is applicable on us, by the way, still, because Allah said clearly, وَإِن تَتَوَلَّوْا يَسْتَبْدِلْ قَوْمًا غَيْرَكُمْ ثُمَّ لَا يَكُونُوا أَمْثَالَكُمْ. If you decided to go astray or to leave the straight path, Allah will replace you. And Allah will bring another group. It's not something easy for, it's easy for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why, for example, the beauty of Islam, it has nothing to do with any race. It's not for Arabs, it's not for Somali, it's not for Pakistani, it's not for Palestinians, it's not for Algerians, it's not for Indians. No. That's why, subhanallah, no one can claim Islam is not has nothing to do with race. No one can claim that Islam. Look, the great, big scholars from all races, big victories. Okay, Arabs started it, but who protected Islam from the invasion of the Mughals? The Mamluki, Qutuz, and they were not Arabs. طيب, al-Bukhari, he's not Arab. Abu Dawud Sijistani, he's not Arab. Yes? We were great scholars of Islam who protected. It has nothing to do with a specific race. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can replace at any time any group of people, and it could happen by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. One of the things that we highlighted at that time as well, in 90 something, that I don't know the verse, قُلْ إِن كَانَتْ لَكُمُ الدَّارُ الْآخِرَةُ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ خَالِصَةً مِّن دُونِ النَّاسِ فَتَمَنَّوُا الْمَوْتَ إِن كُنتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. When we reach this one, I think it's 98 or 97. What's the importance of this ayah? After showing that Allah gave them X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, their left, then let's say the responsibility was given to another group. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the previous group still insisting that it's our rights, we are the choosing people, and we claim that we are the chosen people. Okay, Allah put one of the beautiful criteria for everyone to test himself. قُلْ إِن كَانَتْ لَكُمُ الدَّارُ الْآخِرَةُ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ خَالِصَةً مِّن دُونِ النَّاسِ فَتَمَنَّوُا الْمَوْتَ إِن كُنتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. If you want to test yourself that you know that you are doing the truth, wish from the bottom of your heart that Allah takes your life now. This is a criterion, a test, by the way. فَتَمَنَّوُا الْمَوْتَ إِن كُنتُمْ صَادِقِينَ وَلَن يَتَمَنَّوْهُ أَبَدًا بِمَا قَدَّمَتْ أَيْدِيهِمْ وَاللَّهُ عَلِيمٌ بِالظَّالِمِينَ. So when you claim something, by the way, this is applicable test on individuals and on the groups. I give you simple example. Even though Allah was using this against a whole nation, with a nation, this is applicable on individuals. Like, for example, if someone is committing some haram thing, such as a sister, she knows that because she's putting the makeup and the perfume and the short skirt and all kind of haram things. Some of them, when you discuss with them, Allah knows in my heart I did not do anything, don't interfere in my business. Okay, if you ask her, I ask you by Allah, are you so happy in your relation with Allah that if you knew that you will pass away tonight, you will be happy? Say no. Which means you know that you are doing a great sin. You got my point? If someone is working in a governmental security force, for example, when you come to debate with him, why you are torturing those people? They are troubles, they are doing such, they are extremists, but they are not. No, they are. They are not. Type. If you believe that they are extremists as you claim, even though he knows, because he is one of the planners of the problem that they were accused with false accusation, said, okay, do you mind if we all raised our hands and say, Ya Allah, take the soul of the liar of us now, and we keep asking Allah for full hour till Allah respond to some of us? Do you mind? Say, Sheikh, Baba, what if Allah responded? We are afraid of what? This simple test gives you an idea to what degree you are certain from what you are doing. Especially death. One of One of the very beautiful examples they say in the time of war you will find no atheists. And when the aeroplane is about to fall down, there will be no atheist on board. Maybe it's discussing, give me evidence that your God does exist. I don't believe. If they say, please prepare yourself, now we lost control and we are falling down, we will die in 1 minute. They say, Ya Rab, Ya Allah, Ya Allah. You have just challenging me, telling me, prove to me that God does exist. What happened now in 1 second? When I'm about to die, I know that God does exist. But it's they call it sabuba. You see, it's just, I used to do it for whatever reason. But from the bottom, Allah said this. حتى إذا كنتم في البحر وجرين بهم بريح طيبة جاءتها ريح عاصف وجاءهم الموج من كل مكان دعوا الله مخلصين له الدين لئن أنجانا من هذه لنكونن من الشاكرين. Which means Allah was speaking about a group of mushriks. They say, we are not doing any mistake. We worship these idols, these gods, with Allah. And we are not doing type. If when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests you while you are in the sea, in your ship, and the great waves came and you are about to run death, Ya Allah, you will not worship, you will not ask your statues there in Mecca or in Medina. You will ask just Allah, mukhlisin, pured from their hearts. They know it's just Allah. They know. That's why when the aeroplane or about facing death in the sea, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pushes us. He does what we call iqamat al-hujjah, establishing the argument against us that we realized when death comes. Therefore, as if Allah is saying, okay, تمنوا الموت إن كنتم صادقين. If you are truthful in what you are claiming, تمنوا الموت. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد. One of the beautiful stories I highlighted at that time, if you remember, I told you many times, and I will remind you again. If you can have a copy, it's a free copy from تعريف عام بدين الإسلام, General Introduction to Islam by Ali al-Tantawi. It's about 120 pages from a spoon size. It's a great book literally. General Introduction to Islam, Ali al-Tantawi. One of the stories he mentioned about when someone realizes the truth from the bottom of his heart, and sometimes even if you are raised up and you were taught to ignore some basic default things at a certain of seriousness, the default will come again. He mentioned Ali Tantawi, he was born in 1909 and passed away in 1999. He wrote his book, I think, in 70s, but from his memory, he said, because he was a teacher, he's from Syria. He taught in Baghdad, 30s, 40s. So he said, he technically witnessed as a child the First World War, and as a teacher and a well-educated person, the Second World War. He witnessed them. So he said, I remember reading a translated story from an American magazine talking about a paratrooper in the First World War, for your information. The first time in history of human beings, the First World War, 1914, 1917, it was the first time in the history that they used the parachutes, and they used to have paratroopers, مظليين. And the first time in the history, for about, let's say, 3,000 meters, someone will be asked to throw himself from an airplane, and he was told, with this piece of cloth in your back, you will reach safely into ground. First time, no previous, which is it's horrible. I don't know the exact height, but I'm assuming at least 3 kilometers, which is about maybe 9 or 8 or 10,000 feet, which is nothing. Now our normal flights, not the military one, I think they travel between 27,000 up to 36,000 now. I'm not talking military. Military, they go 50 and 60 and 70,000. At that time, it was around 10,000 feet, which is 3 kilometers. Anyway, but it's a great height. So imagine you were trained as a soldier now in the First World War, whether you were an American or German or British or whatever. Okay, dear soldier, This piece of cloth, you just pull it and you will reach safely. But what if it did not open? 10,000 feet. Now, look what he's saying. He's saying, I read an article about a paratrooper. He was explaining his first experience in his life when he was thrown from the plane for the first time in the history, and what was happening inside his mind when he was descending. Can you imagine this? First time in life. With this piece of cloth that will stop him. He said, I was raised in a non-religious house. God has no mention at all in our life. This is, I'm quoting nearly 90% of his exact literal words. God has no mention. We don't mention God. Nothing. God does not exist. He said, I don't know how, when they threw me, I don't know how I suddenly acquired this faith. And I started from the bottom of my heart screaming, oh my Lord, help me, oh my. I myself, I was not able to realize, where did I bring this faith from? You know, this is the pure fitrah. Now in the highest level of danger now. Oh my Lord. He did not think about his girlfriend, for example. Oh my girlfriend, help me. No. Wallahi, ma fish. Oh Smurfs, help me Smurfs. Oh Hollywood. Oh Batman, Superman, Superwoman, Spider-Man. Seriously, none of us will do it. Because we realize that this is just the fake rubbish. It's nothing. Ya Allah, that's it. Subhanallah. Go and read it in chapter 4, I think. It's in chapter 4. I mean, Al-Tantawi talk about this story. Tens of stories. It's a great book. But I mean, the idea. Why Allah created Jahannam? Because Allah knows that many people realizes the haqq, but they don't accept to submit. I will keep repeating this. This is the core point of our test. Wallahu alam. Then after that we passed by وَلَمَّا جَاءَهُمْ رَسُولٌ مِّنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ مُصَدِّقٌ لِمَا مَعَهُمْ نَبَذَ فَرِيقٌ إِلَى etc. Then we came to the ayah where Allah is telling us that they were waiting for that prophet and they were sure that he is the prophet, yet when he came they refused him. If you remember, we talked about this maybe 2 or 3 sessions. In that context, just to remind you, now Allah told us, and we have tons of examples about this. Zayd ibn al-Su'unna, Abdullah, remember this, Zayd ibn al-Su'unna, he was a great rabbi of the Jewish of the Medina, he became a Muslim. Another one, Abdullah bin Salam, a great rabbi, he became a Muslim. Then we have Ka'b al-Ahbar, he used to be a great rabbi, he became a Muslim. And we have many stories. Now, in the Christian priests, don't count. But why? Because simply Allah is telling us they used to have it in their books. The descriptions, it's fully applicable on him, then they followed. For the sake of the academic research, I will remind you with what we did at that time, maybe or 2, 3 sessions. We said one of the still existing indications about what they used to read about Muhammad ﷺ, it's 1 out of 10. When you go to Deuteronomy, Sifr al-Tathniya, 18:18, and I will raise, this is Deuteronomy, Sifr al-Tathniya is part of the Old Testament, part of the Torah, okay, of Moses. One of the texts that's still preserved up to this moment now in English and in Arabic, Allah says to Moses, I will send to your people, which means the children of Israel, a prophet like you, and I will put my words in his mouth to show them what to do, etc. So this is one of the indications that gives you an idea about that they were aware about coming of Muhammad ﷺ, in addition to other, but especially this is one of the strongest. Why? Because the Christians, they explain this verse by saying it was Jesus Christ. Say no, it's not applicable to Jesus Christ, because the text says what? Like you. Then some scholars, I know some Christian priests, because of this ayah, they became Muslims. Because of this text. When they studied it as Christian priests. Because when they started studying and arguing with their senior, let's say, priests. Okay, God tells Moses, which is part of our Bible, says, O Moses, I will send to the children of Israel a prophet from their brothers like you. Type, who are the brothers of the children of Israel? The children of Ismail. Type, who is like Musa, Isa or Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? So one of the things that they put it in that context, and we did it last time, inshallah, is the following. When it came about similarity, who is like who? Say for example, Muhammad and Musa, both of them, peace be upon them, both of them, they were born in a place and they immigrated from that place to another place. Isa, he did not, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now Muhammad and Musa, both of them, peace be upon them, they were exposed to conspiracy and to be killed, and they were chased and to be eliminated by their enemies. Now, both of them, نزل عليه كتاب تشريعات كاملة. Both of them, they received a book with legislations which contains the blood crimes, marriage, divorce, inheritance, all of these what we call Sharia, which is the exact meaning of the word Torah. Isa alayhi salam, he did not. He came just for a limited time, and he came to fix the path of the children of Israel. And the Quran says, وَلِأُحِلَّ لَكُمْ بَعْضَ الَّذِي حُرِّمَ عَلَيْكُمْ. Some of things that became prohibited, God sent me to make it permissible for you. وَلِأَضَعَ عَنْكُمْ إِصْرَكُمْ وَالْأَغْلَالَ الَّتِي كَانَتْ عَلَيْكُمْ. And some of the restrictions upon your shoulders, Allah sent me to remove it back from you. So it's like a fixed sum of the Sharia of Musa alayhi salam. He did not bring a full book with Sharia. It was for a very limited time, 3 years, and that's it. And then he was left by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قال كلاهما ولد من أبوين والمسيح ليس له أب. Musa Muhammad alayhi salam. Musa and Muhammad, both of them came from fathers and mothers. So he's like him. So Isa alayhi salam does not have a father. Both of them, they passed away with a normal death. Isa alayhi salam, not yet. قال بل رفعه الله إليه. قال كلاهما مكن الله في الأرض وأهلك أعداءه. Both of them, they were given victory against their enemies. Isa alayhi salam, no. According to Christians, he was crucified by his enemy. According to us, he was lifted. He was not given victory against his. But Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did, and Musa alayhi salam with Fir'aun, we know what happened with him. Subhanallah. قال كلاهما كان رئيسا مطاعا في قومه. Both of them, they had the status of being leaders, and they had followers fighting on their behalf. Isa alayhi salam did not. قال وكلاهما مات ودفن في الأرض ولم يرفع إلى السماء. We said it now. This is one of the very quick examples about when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Baqarah وَلَمَّا جَاءَهُمْ كِتَابٌ مِنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ وَلَمَّا جَاءَهُمْ رَسُولٌ مِنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ مُصَدِّقٌ لِمَا مَعَهُم. I think it's 98 or 102, something like that. I don't remember the verse. So this is one of the things that I keep it in your mind, because someone is saying, hey, how can you prove it? Just a claim. I say, no, up to this moment still it exists. Up to this moment. What if it does not exist? I don't care. I believe the Quran. But for the sake of the academic research, in case if you are debating with a very nice person who's seeking the truth, you can help him to understand his own book, if you would love. In addition, something I did mention many times, but it's good to mention it if you have new faces. Now, go and read for Abdul Ahad Dawood or David Benjamin Kildani. David Benjamin Kildani, he lived about 120 years ago, under the Ottoman Empire, by its end. He was a Catholic priest in Iraq from the Kildani Christians. We have Ashuri Christians and Kildani Christians. They are the Christians of Iraq. They have their own, he was a Catholic. So he was a great priest in his church. He was highly respected by the Ottomans themselves. They used to travel and to go to France and to go to Egypt and to go to Istanbul, and he was highly appreciated. So he was reading and he came across, he was shocked by his own research and he decided to become a Muslim. After he became a Muslim, he wrote 5 books. One of them is Muhammad in the Bible. Muhammad fil Kitab al-Muqaddas. This book was written in English, originally. He wrote it in English. Because he speaks, by the way, he masters the skill of Hebrew, Latin, Greek, Arabic, English, French, and I think Aramaic. And he has manuscripts about his own religion by these languages. So he was a highly educated expert in Christianity. After he became a Muslim, his original name is David Binyamin Kildani. He changed his name to Abdul Ahad Dawood. One of his books is Muhammad in the Bible. Go and have it in English. I read it in Arabic. It was translated to Arabic by Hamdi Rida and another translation, I forget the other one. Oh yes, Fahmi Shamma. Hamdi Rida and Fahmi Shamma, if you read in Arabic, it depends. The point, he made a very, very intensive chapter inside this book about the terminology of Parakletos. Parakletos, it's a Latin or a Greek word, I don't know, I don't remember now, which mentions the exact translation of it is the highly praised, Al-Mahmud. That is mentioned in the Bible, that then the Parakletos will come. But who's the Parakletos? Christians, they translate it as Jesus Christ. But the exact translation from all languages of expert is what? The praised, which is Al-Mahmud, which is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So it's, things. I'm just giving you some of the examples in case, because sometimes some of your friends might be interested in this or following this or that religion, and maybe they are seeking the truth. And by the way, the level of education that we have about religion text, most of other religions, they don't have it, but we have it. So do good for them, tell them about what they might not be aware, by the way. And I discovered from my humble history of research, many Muslims, they are aware of the religions of those whom we debate with more than themselves about their religion. Because of the Quran, because the Quran tells us many things. Subhanallah. This is one of the things that we did. Another thing we did at that time, inshallah, and I will finish with this one, inshallah. This is my last point for today. People keep asking, I highlighted strongly at that time, keep asking, Ya Ammi, how does it make sense? A group of people are waiting for a prophet. They have the full detailed catalog about his description. When he came exactly as they were expecting, they rejected. It does not make sense, Ya Ammi. Ya Allah, I can't accept it. Ammi, I said, don't go far. We Muslims now, don't we have tens and hundreds of prophecies about the time of our? Yes or no? Yes or no? Time. How many millions of Muslims, they don't care? Even they are witnessing exactly what Prophet Muhammad said to them. But what's the difference between those people and us now? What? Just let's stop with one example, which I highlighted that time. One example. Hadith Sahih. When Muhammad was asked about the indications or the signs of the hour. قال فأخبرني عن, remember when Jibril alayhi salam came in a form of a man and asked Muhammad some questions. The people around him, they thought he's one of the Sahaba. They did not know who is he. He came, it's very, very powerful hadith. قال جاءنا رجل شديد سواد الشعر شديد بياض الثياب لا يرى عليه أثر السفر ولا يعرفه منا أحد. Umar is the narrator of this hadith. It's in al-Bukhari. He said, a man who's a stranger, that none of us realized who is he. And the strange thing, even though he's a stranger, there is no signs of a stranger, because a stranger means he was passing the desert to come to Medina, which means he should feel full of dust on him, which is common sense. Traveling in the dust. I mean, it's not like us. They don't have SUVs, cars and aeroplanes. They don't have it. It's in a horse or a camel or a donkey or a mule. So it's, the hair should be shaggy, full of dust, everything. It's, subhanAllah. stranger with this. He came to Prophet Muhammad, he asked him many questions. Ya Muhammad, أخبرني عن الإيمان, أخبرني عن الإسلام. He asked him about many things. When he finished, he just disappeared. Then Muhammad said, أتدرون من هذا? They said, Allah wa Rasuluhu a'lam. Allah and His Messenger know the best. قال هذا جبريل أتاكم يعلمكم أمور دينكم. This is the Archangel Gabriel عليه السلام. Came to teach you. This is one of the divine way how to teach the dialogue or the conversation between Jibril and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Anyway, one of the most important questions he asked him about what's the definition of Iman, he said such and such. What's the definition of Islam, such and such. Then he said, قال متى الساعة? When the hour, which means the end of life, the qiyamah will happen. قال ما المسؤول عنها بأعلم من السائل. The one who has been asked knows no more the one who's asking, which means neither you nor me know. We don't know. قال فحدثني عن أماراتها. Okay, you and me, we don't know when, but does it have signs, indications that it is soon? قال نعم. Now let's focus. This is what I want from the hadith. قال أن تلد الأمة ربتها. Literally says the daughters will be giving birth to their mothers or to their masters. But how come? This is common sense. It's a metaphorical expression which means the disrespect for mothers by their daughters will be highly. Which means, a female by default is more soft, more respectful, more lenient. Now will you see how rude females became with their mothers in specific? Very rude, very tough. One of the signs of the reaching to the end of the time. Now next one is the most powerful one, literally. قال وأن ترى. Now focus on this. أن ترى الحفاة العراة العالة رعاء الشاء يتطاولون في البنيان. You will witness the barefoot Bedouins, Arabs, who used to be very poor, shepherd. He said, حفاة العراة العالة رعاء الشاء. You will see the barefoot, okay, Arabs who used to be, barefoot, which means very poor, shepherds, just taking care of al-ala, which means very needy. They always dependable on others, which means they don't have any kind of wealth. قال يتطاولون في البنيان. Look what he says. They will be competing in building high rising buildings. يتطاولون. Ya Rab, wallahi, many times I said it. If we do not have a prophecy except this to prove that Muhammad is a prophet, it's enough. When did this happen? By the way, does this happen now? Is there anyone on earth who does not know that this happens now? What's happening in Burj Khalifa or Burj Jeddah or Burj Doha or Burj whatever? It's high-rising buildings. Boom, 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 boom. 100, 200, 180, 110, 180. Ya Allah. To the best of my knowledge, about how many years Burj Khalifa in Dubai? I think 14 years now or 16 years. At that time, more or less, it costed $4 billion a building. At that time, $4 billion. 15 years, the real cost in our days, at least multiplied 5 times, at least. What used to do 15 years with 4 billion, you need now at least 20 billion. 20 billion. It's a budget of 2 countries like Jordan. Budget of the whole 11 millions of population, including the Ministry of Education for hundreds of thousands, a Ministry of Health, a Ministry of everything, construction, a budget of 2 countries for a building. A building. One building, طبعا, just one building. If this is not an indication, the point, How many people they are witnessing what Muhammad ﷺ explained to them that this is the time of it, which means now Qiyamah is very low, and they don't care. I'm just giving you an example how we are under the same problem that our cousins, they did not care about. They used to read that this is description. He will be such and such, he will come in this condition, he will be saying such and such. Okay, he came, the same, okay, I don't care. What? But how come? Yeah, you are doing the same thing now. We are doing the same thing now. Prophet Muhammad said in the hadith, he said in the hadith, قال اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد سيجيء, a time will come on the people, قال يكون الرجل جالسا على أريكته يقول ما وجدناه في كتاب الله أخذناه وما لم نجده ندعه. Prophet Muhammad described a group of people. Now they call them al-Qur'aniyin. But in reality they are munkiri sunnah, the deniers of the sunnah. Now we have those people. Look how he described. You will witness a group of people, he will be sitting comfortably on his sofa. This is an indication of what? Luxurious. Which means they're just just a talk, empty talk. Okay? He will say, whatever we find in the book of Allah, we'll accept it, the book of Allah. But anything else, we don't care. So don't cheat us. As if, so indirectly, under the title or the umbrella of defending the Quran, they ignore completely what? The Sunnah, which means they destroy 90% of Islam. Do we have them now or no? Look at them, tens of them. They are on the TVs, tens of them. 24/7, wherever you go, you find them in there. So this is another indication. And by the way, if I kept speaking about the prophecies of Muhammad ﷺ up to the Fajr, how many people? Many people, they don't care. Still, they are living and doing whatever they are doing and they don't care. So it's not a big deal. That's why we keep asking, Ya Allah, protect our hearts from the fitan. ما ظهر منها وما بطن. You don't know, because it's knowing the reality does not mean necessarily you will follow it. This is the core point of the whole issue. By this we will stop, inshallah. From next time, inshallah, we will review another 5-6 sessions by the will of Allah from chapter Al-Baqarah. جزاكم الله خير. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أنا لخمت لخمة جديدة.